Okay, so first let us introduce the output of the game which we have made, which like we will show you further how it's the game has made. But this is the output which we are showing first. So it's the basic snake game which just run like which has just a basic control like everybody would have played it. So this is the output of the game, and now we will talk about the presentation, like whatever we have done in this code. Hello everyone. Today we are discussing our computer programming project, and our title is the Snake Game, the game that which we all have played once in a life, and for many of us, it is the first mobile game. So before going further, let me introduce our members, our group. So my name is Aditya Shrivastava, and my teammate name is Aman Pathak and Archit Johri. So let's start with index. So in index, so what all we will talk about in our project is that overview, the libraries which are included in this, the game constant and data structures which is included in this, game function, main game loop, handling snake moment, code, learning, enhancement, and future works, and then the conclusion. This is all going to be the part of our project, and we will try to explain the code in the most better way we can. So for giving the overview of the game, I would like to introduce Aman Pathak to carry on.
Hello everyone, myself Aman Pathak and we present the overview of this program. The content of this program is classic snack game. The player controls a snake that grow longer as it eats foods while avoiding collision with the walls and itself. The game feature of this program is first is random food generation, snacks movements controls up, down, left, right, increasing snacks length as food it eaten, and the last is game over on wall or self collision. The objective of this overview is survives as long as possible and score points by growing the snacks. Please, Aditya Shrivastava, carry on.
Okay, so now let me introduce to our libraries, because this is the most important part of any C language. So the first is studio.h, which is like everybody knows that it is for the standard input and output. So this is the our first library. Then it is stdlib.h. This function, because in our code the we have to generate the random numbers for generating the food at anywhere we want, like the randomly arrange the food. Therefore, we have used the rand function to generate the random number, so we can put the food in it there. And the next is unistd.h, which provide the usleep function. What does this usleep function do? Usleep function gives the time in the microsecond, which runs the output in microseconds. Like the game will automatically run in the microseconds. Like we have given the time which we will talk about further. We have given 1 lakh microseconds at a time, 1 lakh microseconds, in which the output will run again and again. Then we will have the termios.h library, which is the I think the main library, in which we have done a lot of research for that. Sorry. So in which we have done a lot of research, because this is the library which gives the non-blocking input. So what does this non-blocking input means? So the non-blocking input means that we can draw, like the game will run automatically without any pressing the key, which is a really important part, because we want the snake to run without any giving instruction, without any key. Therefore we have given this non blocking input library, which is called termios.h, and that's why we have this is I know this is the external library, but it was important for us to store it. Then we have fcntl.h, which is slightly like termios.h, which is used to modify file descriptor properties, and we use it in the input mode to non-blocking. Then we have time.h, which generate the random food position using the current time as a seed. Like the time.h is just the time.h library plays with the time and date of the C language code. So we have done like for the current time we have to we have to put the random food position. Therefore we have used this time.h library. Then we go further to the next slide, which is the game function. So what does the game function means? See, the game functions are the main core of the code. Like whatever we are doing in the code, it's like the is from that the functions which we are putting in the code. So the first function we have put is setup, which like I will give the overview and then I'll explain whole in the code slide. So first the overview we will give. So what does the setup function means? Like it is the why we have given the setup function. This function sets up the initial game state, like how the game will look like. The setup will define that. What will be the draw function? Draw function is responsible for drawing the grid, like how much the length should be of like a snake. What is the length of the wall? The all the things will be drawn by the draw output. Then we have input. Like what does the input function do? It controls the snake movement. What is the controller we have put in the game. What is the controls we have done in the game, we will show in the input function. And the next and the most important thing is logic. What does this logic means? Like the logic is the main core of the code, which gives you the movement of the snake, that how the snake is moving, how he is eating the food, how it is eating the food, and how the random functions of the food is going on. Then we have generate food. So how the food is generating in the random position, we have defined in that generate food function. And the last thing is collision, that whenever it will touch to a wall or it will touch to itself, the game will automatically end. Now I would like to call Archit Johri for giving the instruction about the game constant and data structure.
Hello everyone, myself Archit Johri, and I am going to tell you about game constant and data structure of the snake game. So first, let's we talk about width and height. These constants define the size of the game, and here we are taking the grid of the game is 40 units wide and 20 units tall. The second one is maximum snake length. The maximum snake length that the snake can grow is 200 units. Uh, The four possible directions in which the snake can move are up, down, left, and right. Then other one is point struct. This struct holds the x and y coordinates of points on the grid used for the snake's body, the head, and the foot. Snake array. This array stores the position of the snake's body segments. The snake starts with a length of 1, just the head. Snake length. This variable tracks the length of the snake. Food x, food y. These variables stores the x and y coordinates of the food and also represent the x and y coordinates. Direction. This variable stores the current direction the snake is moving in. Initially set to right. Now let's move on to the next slide. Main game loop. The game runs in an infinite loop repeatedly during the screen, processing input and updating the snake's position. If a collision occurs, the game ends automatically and the score is displayed on the screen. The uSleep is basically a type of command that pauses the game for 100 milliseconds to control the speed of the game. Now we are going to talk about handling snake movement. Uh, Direction control. We are taking here WASD buttons as the control snake's direction buttons, in which the snake can move up, left, down, right by pressing W, A, S, and D letters respectively. Snake movement. The snake's body follows the head's movement in the grid. The snake body segments are shifted and the head moves based on the current direction. Now I am going to handle over to the Aditya Shrivastava.
Okay, so now the main part has came, that the code, what the code we have done in this library, in this C language. So first of all, like I have told you that we have used the six libraries, and I would tell again there are some external libraries like termios.h, fcntl, which we have used externally by downloading it and doing the research, because we needed this libraries. We like, it's the basic code, but we were needed it because without it, the game doesn't work, I guess. Therefore we have used these two external libraries, so sorry for that. Then we have then we will see further. So we have defined the width, we have defined the width of the game, which is 40. And then we have defined the height, which is 20. The game snake length, which is 100. Like the max snake length we have given to the snake is 100. Then we have talked about a direction like up, down, left, right, which we will give afterwards. After in code, we will define that what is up, left, down, right. Then if we talk about the further, we have given the structure, uh, name point, and in which we have defined the some of the variables like int x and int y, which will be used further. Like it's the first we are defining all the functions and game, then we will start getting what is in that function. So then when we have declared the function, the void setup, draw, input logic, generate food, collision, enabling non-blocking input, and disabling non-blocking input, which is I have already discussed. And enabling non-blocking input and disabling non-blocking input is like the function of termios library, which will run the code without any delay and without any pressing key. So then we are here, you can see that in the next, that int main, enabling non-blocking input and setup. Like we have set up the function, like the setup function is being used here. Like what we have done, that while one, draw, input logic, these are the function which will be defined further. Which if like the first statement we have given, that if the collision happen, like the collision we will define afterwards. It's the beginning of the code, so we will define it further in our code. So what's there, that print f game over, and your score will be generated, and the score will be snake length -1. Why is it -1? Because the snake is already, when the snake will come, it will come with one head. Yes, so we have to minus that whenever the score will be generated. Therefore, we have used the snake length -1. Then we have used the usleep function. What is this usleep function? It's just like the I have said that we have given 1 lakh microseconds. Like after every 1 lakh microseconds, the game will the output will automatically generate again. Yes. So now we are setting up the initial game state, like void setup, snake, like a snake on x, a variable, it will be width upon 0, width upon 2. Like we want the snake should be at the middle. Therefore we have given that snake x variable should be at width upon 2. Snake's y variable will be at height upon 2. Therefore the snake will run from the middle part of the screen. Then when we will draw the game state, like we will draw now in this code, you can see that system cls is given. So what does this cls means? See, first of all, I would like to clear that in windows cls is used, and and if you are using mac os or linux, you should use clear. Because in my mac os and this linux, clear function works, and here the cls command works. So what does this CLS command means? Like when we will run the code, if the CLS command will be not there, so the output will give one by one, and there will be many screens will be generated. So what does the CLS command do? It just remove all the give the blank screen, and the output and the game will generate again, so that there will be no like no many of the windows will not appear, and not even the output will be again and again displayed in the another screen. Therefore we have used this CLS command. Now we would like to go to the another slide for the another code. So now we are drawing the top wall. So how can we draw it? Like int for int I is equals to 0, I less than width plus 2, I plus plus. So this is the top wall which we have drawn. Print hash, so therefore the hash wall will be appear, and this is the simple code which is the basic of C language. Then we have used for int like the game grid. What's the game grid means? That the main portion of the game that on which the game should be start, the on what is the boundary of the code. That's what the game what that's what the this game grid means. So we have done int I is equals to 0, I less than height, I plus plus, and j is equals to 0, j less than width, j plus plus. Why we have done this? Because if the snake will collide after it, so the game will automatically end, and you will be shown to the score, you will be taken to the score. And like you can see here that else if j is equals to width minus 1. Like why we have doing this width minus 1, that when the because the width is of 40, and when we will like when the snake will collide, it will be on minus 1. Therefore we have used j is equals to width minus 1, so that the game can end. Yes, okay. So then else if I is equals to snake dot y, and j is equals to snake dot x, print o, printf o. What does this printf o means? Like this, when the snake, we have defined further that snake will be at the middle of the position, so it so that so the first function which the snake will appear will be at the capital O letter, so that it's the representation of its head. So then after that, if we go further, like do drawing the snake body, for k is equals to 1, k is less than snake length, k plus plus. If snake k dot x is equals to j, and snake k dot y is equals to I, the print o means what does this showing? It is showing the another body, like the head is already made up, and now it's the time to show the body when the snake will be go up again and again, like the when the it will eat the food, how the snake will run, it will show that. So now what we are doing, like we are now like we have done this, we will at the same we will draw the bottom wall. We will draw like a game input, like the game. What does the game input means? Like it will show the direction, like if current is equals to w and direction is not down, therefore it will show the up direction. Or when it's s, the direction is not equals to up, the direction will be down. So these are all the directions we have put. Like w is for up, like the basic directions which everybody puts. So the what's the void logic? For int is equals int I is equals to snake length, I is greater than 0, I minus minus snake I is equals to snake I minus 1. What does this showing? It is showing that how the snake is moving, because we are not using any animation, so we have to put this all in our code. So when the snake, so we have to show that it's moving. So we will show it's moving like by uh, one disabling the one like head, like the one part of its body from the up, so to the one part of the, and enabling one part of the body to the down. Like that we will show its like game input, like the game snake length. So let's go further. Then we have like direction, which I have already told you. Now the how the snake will generate, like how the food will generate. See, if the snake dot x is equals to food x, and snake dot y is equals to food y. So when the both the conditions will apply, the snake length will be plus, like the snake length will be plus by 1. Then we will generate the random food position. We will generate by random food position, like I said, by the srand function. Like srand width, like rand percentage width, like to put the food in a random position, we have used the rand command, which will give the like the random number to the code. Then we have collision. So in collision we have just defining that snake dot x is less than 0. snake uh, Snake dot x is greater than width. And we have shown here that if the collision will happen, so the game will end. This function shows that. Okay, so now we are enabling non-blocking input and disabling non-blocking input. This is the function of termios.h. Like I have already said, this is the outer function which we have put it on it. So that's it from the code. Now I would like to show you the flowchart. Like it will start, enable the non-blocking input, then it will set up the game, then it will set up the game loop, update logic, input direction, and then it will check collision. Then the game will end, and now at last it will show the end command. So then for the learnings, I would like to call Aman Pathak for the learning part.
We use Thermion's library and logic, and third is external library. Thermion's library, the biggest problem for running the code was coming how to execute the code without pressing any key, and after finding Thermion's library the problem was solved. The logic behind the game to run the snack without any animation was the really big task. And third is external library. The main task for us was how to download the external libraries in Windows and how to run those library in VS Code. And enhancement and future work. Add difficulty levels. First is add difficulties level. Increase snack speed as the player progress. And second is cross platform compatibility. Modify screen cleaning for Windows. And third is game features. Add more complex game mechanics such as power ups level or increasing snack speed. The conclusion of this program is the first conclusion is the game run in an infinite loop repeatedly, drawing the screen, processing input, and updating the snake's position. The second is if a conclusion occur, the game ends and the score based on snack length is displayed. The third conclusion is the use leap 1 lakh pause the game for 10 milliseconds to control the game speed. We invite Archit Johri to explain the module use.
So we here used modules are introduction to C program, control statements, functions, arrays, and user-defined data types and variables. Now we are going to move to next slide. Contribution of individuals. Here Aditya Shrivastava contribute the research for different libraries and the logic behind the code. Aman Pathak helped in making the functions and contributed in creating slides. Archit Johri myself helped in debugging and making structure of the game.
So after all this code and all the project we have done, like we would like to thank you all of them who are listening from us till 24 minutes. It's so pleasure to if someone listen to us so deeply. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.